A fandom divided from the sands of Tatooine to the jungles of Kashyyyk. HoloNet grifters spread hate and fear, forcing innocent fans to endure a joyless galaxy. Determined to keep the peace, two scruffy-looking nerf herders from the Outer Rim brave the wretched hive of hot takes, scum, and villainy to bring hope to the hopeless. This is
No Disintegrations,
a Star Wars podcast.
This is where the fun begins.
Davo.
Hello there. Hado.
What's up?
Had to ruin it.
Hello there.
We had agreed cadence, and already 5 seconds into it, you've ruined it. Of course. Of course.
Welcome to the first episode of No Disintegrations, a Star Wars podcast. Because, you know, there's not a fucking enough of those in this galaxy, is there, Dave?
You just had to start as like the science guy from Futurama. Welcome to the podcast of tomorrow.
Mate, he's a G.
Oh, my goodness.
What are we talking about today, Davo?
We're talking about a little thing called Maul Shadow Lord, and we thought we'd kick this little thing off with I guess a mini rewatch of pivotal animated and cinematic moments of Maul. A little bit of Ahsoka v Maul in Clone Wars, a little bit of Obi v Maul in Rebels, the last 2 episodes of Maul Shadow Lord, and then a little taste of the solo cameo of Maul, which is arguably the finest incarnation of Maul, with Ray Park bodying it up and Sam Witwer voicing Maul. So yeah, it's been a wonderful little journey for the last couple of hours, just taking all of that in and revisiting it.
Just on Ray Park, this is a huge sidebar. Do
Sure.
you follow him on Instagram?
I do, but as you know, the algorithm hates anything that you really like.
Okay,
so
because
fill me in.
recently, have you seen him basically getting drunk constantly and deciding that the best thing for him to do is to record himself like just abusing or slagging off, I guess, his partner or ex-wife? I'm not too
Oh
sure.
God, I thought this was going to go in a whole different direction, because the last thing I watched of him was he was at some convention or at some spot, and somebody literally threw him like a double-handed saber, and he just threw out all the classic moves. And I thought maybe he's just getting lit at a pub, and you know what I mean? Some guy's like, yo, Ray, get a load of this. Wow, that took a very
No.
dark turn.
So the last interaction I had with Ray Park's Instagram was, I opened up my Instagram up the top. I'm like, oh, Ray Park's posted a story. Let's click on this. Bam, revenge porn.
Oh my goodness. I guess his revenge on the Jedi was quite specific. My goodness.
Yeah, not what I was expecting. Because as you just said, I was like, oh, he's probably at a convention. Someone's tossed him a red lightsaber and he is going to work. But nope. Yeah, so haven't really been to his page since.
If anyone's wondering about the tone of this podcast, we've just ripped the Band-Aid off for you right now. So buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Yeah, I ended up going on a massive deep dive after that of like, what is Ray Park doing online? And I found a lot of Reddit threads where this is apparently a like consistent form of behavior from, I was going to say the great man, but I don't think this type of behavior is really from great men.
Well, I rescind my previous statement that he embodies the finest incarnation of Maul, and I will take up the mantle of Shadow Lord is the best incarnation of Maul, and Ray Park does not exist. My God.
It's bloody nuts. Yeah, insane. So I guess I might be the first hot take off the rank, I reckon.
Yeah, I mean, you're really setting the bar. I don't know.
I'm going to follow it up.
Where to go from here?
I'm going to follow this up with some positives because I've somewhat derailed this 5 minutes in.
Unsurprisingly.
I think Maul Shadow Lord as a complete, like the first complete season, I think this might be Filoni's best work yet.
Which is an interesting thing, because I remember talking to you about it before this came out, and your stance was he needs to get over this lone wolf and cub shit. Like you literally had already said, like, I'm not saying you went into this negative because you and I are kind of like Star Wars is like pizza. Even when it's bad, it's pretty good. We're two guys who love ourselves some Star Wars. And I was quite surprised because I thought it was a hot take and you are a big Filoni fanboy. Yeah, I was genuinely surprised. And this came out of nowhere. And I was on board within 8 seconds just from the art style alone. I mean, it was so visually arresting, and that just oil painting kind of vibes that they were bringing to it. It's just, I mean, you look back and I guess the bones of it are there when you see, like the later seasons of Clone Wars and, Rebels and Bad Batch and stuff like that. But this is just on a whole different level.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this probably my favorite in terms of visuals anyway of the animated series. I really loved that oil painting. It really hit that, that like Blade Runner, neo-noir vibe they were obviously going for.
It's not, but it feels grimy. Do you know what I mean? Like you feel the texture. Like there are times I'm looking at this and I know that I'm looking at a still. Do you know what I mean? You can see it's like it's a static background where they've got the characters animated over the top, but there's such depth and nuance to it. It's beautiful, and that made me fall in love with it. And Sam Witwer's performance across the board. I mean, people put their stamp on shit, but my God, man, that guy is just the little nuances, the little takes. I wrote notes.
Whoa!
I wrote notes.
I didn't know you were literate.
Well, it's a big day of discovery for both of us.
That's pretty rare for Star Wars fans, I reckon.
It is true, but you do need to be literate so you can angry punch a keyboard.
Yeah.
And write about all the things that you hate about it and what it should have been in your fan fiction.
Well, that sounded personal.
He's like his delivery is like quiet, directed, measured, and malevolent. You know what I mean? And it's just got there's all these little undercurrents going on all the time where you feel like he's very in place, but he's barely holding on to being in place. I don't know where I was going with that, but it's just like that was just something.
I totally get what you mean. Like there's a lot of moments in the show where Maul has an aura about him where he is projecting not so much confidence, but the illusion of being in control of a situation. But he is hanging on by a thread. He is being like betrayed by everyone in the underworld he has tried to manipulate because, it turns out crime lords aren't trustworthy people, right? Oh, funny that.
But it's also the setup. You thought that he would be like a G. From the first episode, you're like, he's the fucking man. Do you know what I mean? And then everything just unravels throughout the course of the season.
Maul's a man, all right. He's a man on the run. Like he is groveling in a sewer, essentially. He is hiding. It's called Shadow Lord, but like he's like the Lord of the dumpster, you know? Like what I really love about that is in terms of where he's framed in the story is that he's kind of on the same level as, our other two main characters, which is Devon and
Master Iko Diodaki.
That's it, Dino Dingus. That's just what I'm going to call him. Who I love. I always love a new, like, masterful Jedi that's an alien, because I feel like it's more of a problem in live action. You don't get a lot of cool alien characters. They're normally, like, background characters.
Also, I just got to say, sidebar, masterfully voiced by Dennis Haysbert, who is just spectacular. Such, I don't want to say, but lack of a better word, gravitas to the role. Like, do you know what I mean? It was just like this air that nobody else has, and it was almost like a throwback to the old, almost Obi-Wan-esque. It was literally like, I'm a fucking Jedi Master, son. Like it really had that, like, just his cadence, everything was just fantastic. Sorry, sidebar, go on.
No, I agree. Yeah, voiced by the guy plays Bob in Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the traitor FBI agent in like the really funny heist episode. So Dino Dingus and Devon, D&D, are like groveling in the streets. They're hiding. They're on the run as well. They're in the same place as Maul. Maul's just like cosplaying as someone important.
He really isn't. He's just, you can literally see him like, I am the puppet master. I am pulling everyone's strings. It's like, man, you're barely holding on by a thread. You're not pulling any strings at all until, like the very end.
Yeah, there's a bit of like throwing in Rebels about him, like yes, all according to plan. Like, really, your plan is to live this horrendous life? Okay, shit plan, my guy.
Have your mechanical legs destroyed 55,000 times throughout the course of a season? Just in case you missed it, let's just flash and show every single time that your legs were just decimated.
Yeah, Sam Witwer's performance is probably, it's one of the reasons why I think this is maybe Filoni's best work, is because I think it's like two masters at work here in terms of Filoni, and he is doing the lone wolf and cub thing. So I did groan a little bit initially because I was like, how many times are you going to run this fucking back, man? Like, we've seen it a lot. Like, if you've watched Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, Mandalorian, Bad Batch, like, you've kind of seen this constantly. Tales of the Underworld as well. You're like, oh, come on. But I do love Lone Wolf and Cub at the end of the day. Like,
I don't know why you're fronting. You're like sitting there going, have some more of your favorite food to dine on. Oh, God, no, not my favorite thing again.
Yeah.
How terrible.
But it really is that thing, it's like creators often tell, like, they kind of tell the same one to maybe 3 stories over and over and over again. And it just works here because there's more at play here. Like, it's more straightforward in the other shows, I think. Like, when you think about Bad Batch, there's no moral ambiguity at play. Like, Omega is she's the cub to, like, the wolf, which is all of the members of the Bad Batch, but really Hunter.
Yeah.
Whereas this is more interesting because there's already an established master-apprentice relationship. But Devon's disillusioned with the life they're living because
she wants more.
Yeah, and she doesn't want more in a selfish sort of way. She wants, she's really caught up in, like, we need to be helping people, or, like, aren't we meant to be, like, the moral arbiters or peacekeepers of this universe? Why are we groveling in the street for food?
And it's interesting because, like, the in is because, Maul is just, as we've seen through many of the series, he's desperate for an apprentice, and he's, targeting Padawans that he thinks he's got an in with. We saw it with, him trying to groom Ahsoka, Ezra, Devon, and Kira. You know what I mean? Like, it is a pattern for him that across, all of the different incarnations of him in Star Wars, it has been one of the constants that he's had, which is just, he wants a Padawan in his own image to help him enact his revenge on Sidious.
Yeah, he's so obsessed with vengeance, which I really love because, like, his first piece of dialogue in Phantom Menace is, at last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi.
Yeah.
At last we will have revenge. It's like, revenge from what, bro? Like, you have never met a Jedi. Like, of course, he's taken as a child, which we sort of get in those flashbacks in other episodes, which are very cool. But ultimately, I think he's looking for 2 things in The Apprentice. He needs a replacement for his brother, who he misses, which is Savage, of course, after his death. And then he also kind of wants to be the master he never really had.
Wants to break the cycle of generational Sith trauma.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's got, like, daddy Sith issues, basically. and he's never going to find it because he's, Star Wars is always good at having those mythological parallels. And Maul is Sisyphus. Like, he's pushing that boulder uphill and it's rolling back down. Rolls back down with Savage, rolls back down with Ahsoka. It's gonna roll back down with Devon. It rolls down with Ezra. I'm sure it rolls down with Kira, even though they, haven't touched that yet. To the point where, he goes, what does he go back to after all that fails? He starts blaming Kenobi. I want revenge on Kenobi.
It's just so interesting because, like, you watch Maul and, like, as in Shadow Lord, and you're seeing this, like, the faltering steps of a rise of a crime lord, right? And he's trying to get, and you're trying to see, like you said, like, This is like filling in the gaps between this and Solo, the end of Solo. Like, how does he get there? Which is a fun time, and it's going to be very interesting, the road and the people that he meets. But then, us going back and watching his fight with Ahsoka and, his, wouldn't call it a fight with Kenobi, his voluntary suicide with Kenobi, the resignation he has over it, as in it's like a foregone conclusion, and the relief that he has at just like, I want to leave this world. The just like almost gratefulness, the welcoming he has of death and his end. And it's just, for me, I'm interested to see how, like, is this going to be like Bad Batch and I'll do 4 seasons and that's it? Is this going to be something that's going to go long? I mean, in this current climate, things don't usually go for, more than about 4 or 5 seasons. So how far are they going to delve into the, I guess, lack of a better word, descent into madness over the course of the series? You know what I mean? Are they going to give us the touch points between capable to down on his luck with spider legs and, then trying to get proper legs and then, taking over Mandalore and then, ending in a desert dead?
Like a rat in the desert.
Exactly.
Yeah, the irony of that phrase. I think what's interesting about him pursuing this crime lord BS is he's not interested in crime, and he's not interested in the benefits of like why people commit crime, which is normally like, wealth, status, access to all that stuff. It is all to amass just some form of power and influence so he can kill Sidious.
Yeah.
Like, it is just all about vengeance. And you see that constantly. Like, even the trusted members of his group, like, they're like, oh, we want our, like, there's
motherfucker, we need to get paid.
Yeah, like there's the
like, leave the credits. They're like, what?
Yeah, the Mandalorians are like credits. And like, Maul doesn't give a fuck about credits. Like, I don't think Maul's paid for anything in his life. Not with money anyway. He's obviously paid like a mental and like physical toll for his like life of his, I was gonna say life well lived, but maybe not.
For his slice of life,
right
down the middle.
Oh, stop it. And I think that all comes to a head, I think, in those last 2 episodes where it's all just falling apart again. He's got the Inquisitorius on his tail. The Empire is now on this planet. Like, it's all over. He's back on the run. And there, Rook Cast is like, Lord, you need to focus on this. But he is like, nope, I'm focused on securing Devon as an apprentice so I can enact my revenge.
Yep.
And it's just this, it's why he's Sisyphus, because it's the cyclical nature of this cycle of violence and, aggression and suffering that he is just locked into because he can't see anything other than this silly goal.
Well, it's just, like Sidious is the embodiment of everything bad that has ever happened to him in his entire existence. So, removing that will make his life good.
Yeah, like what does success look like for him, like in a post I've killed Sidious and enacted my revenge world, and like we obviously never get that. But I think that's what I like about Maul's character arc, is that it just keeps going around and around and around, and he tries so many times, and you can't help but feel for him. But it reminds me of there's a really good quote in Batman the Animated Series from Alfred, and it's "Vengeance blackens the soul." And that's just Maul.
He's just ultimately doomed, right? Because we know the timeline. He will never live to see his or any revenge on Sidious enacted. Do you know what I mean? It's just like his whole life's purpose is just wasted. It's just never going to be actualized. Like for me, I had moments where, especially when they did that flashback when he was a kid with his brother, and you see that flash of vulnerability across his face when they do that, and even the vulnerability as a child. And I looked at it and I was like, fuck you, Filoni. Again, making me feel sympathy towards somebody who is a horrible character and does terrible things. But you have that moment of just like, he's been terrorized, he's been manipulated, he's been molded into this thing. And then he's just been set up. I mean, sure, he takes zero accountability for anything he's done, but You know what I mean? It is that you have a momentary pang of just like, oh,
And that's really good too, because that build up isn't just exclusive to the flashbacks of a embracing the dark side more. You get that a little bit when, Darky says, we must beware the Shadow Lord. And then Two Boots has, I think, the best line of dialogue where he's like, "Oh, it seems like a good plan to trust him, but he does look like really untrustworthy," or whatever. It's like that.
I'd just like to highlight.
Yeah.
He looks very untrustworthy.
Yeah.
No shit.
Delivered with, all the pizzazz of, what's his name? A guy who plays Maurice Moss in
Of the IT crowd.
It's almost like a will they, won't they be friends type thing with him and the Jedi Master. And when they're fighting the awesome Inquisitors, I love their design so much. We'll probably get to them soon, but the 1st and 11th brother, and he lets Darky go first to jump over the acid pit. It's very video gamey to me. It's like, oh, we have to cross the acid pit, like the floor is lava. But he lets him go first. Which I think is good foreshadowing. I think Darky says it at one point in an earlier episode. It's like that whole "the enemy of our enemy is not our friend."
Yes, it was a great line.
Yeah, and that is so, because normally that is such a trope in everything, right? Enemy of the enemy, my friend, and you see it all the time.
It's like we hate each other, but now we love each other because we hate the same thing. And it's like, well, what's really changed? Just directing your hate elsewhere.
And I'm like fully with Darky on this one. I'm like, yeah, the enemy of your enemy is not your friend. Maul is not your friend. He constantly complains about being, he was a tool for somebody else to use, and then he was discarded when he was no longer sharp enough. And then he just perpetuates that same thing on everyone else he ever encounters. And it's ultimately why he's never successful.
Though it has been surprising to me watching this, the sense of nobility and loyalty he has to those beneath him or those who are in service of him. Like, you would think that the most of them he would just be like, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of people, like Ducky was definitely a pawn for him to just maneuver wherever he wanted. And the same with Devon. And anyone else involved, like the Lawsons and whatever else. But like his crew, his Mandalorian crew, and his brothers, I can't remember the name of their race.
The Zabraks.
Zabraks. Like, you can see like the pain when they get taken out. The ones who are, like not just there for the credits, but the ones who are like, no, we're on board with you to see you to the top. Like, when Icarus goes out and, he
goes out like an absolute fucking king.
Absolutely. Like, last stands the shit out of it. Like, he gets clipped multiple times, has a double, triple play on the way out, throws 3 knives, takes out 3 troopers, pops up and then goes, you know what? I'm just going to tackle these last 3 into a sea of acid and just let myself slowly decompose. Like, goddamn.
The fact his name's Icarus too, it's like that they're fully leading into the Greek thing. Like, when they got into that underground passage and they got across the floor is lava room, I was like, oh, it's kind of like the River Styx. And, they don't have any money to pay the boatmen, and like people just pay with their lives, right? Like, and that's probably me like looking too much into it.
No, the toll comes due always.
Yeah, exactly. You got to pay the boatman some way, and it basically comes in the form of Spypot. If people don't know, we're Australian, and I think for Spybot, like you've got to run the last post, I reckon. Like,
he, she, it, they, them, just
whoa.
Hey,
is this a woke podcast, David?
I do not know how Spybot likes to be identified, and I am on board.
I'll tell you how he should be identified: dead.
Wouldn't it be de-identified then?
Oh, true. Yeah.
No, man. He that character was and yet another in a long line of memorable droids rolled out that just, and everyone has a different flavor, I will steal your thunder and say, didn't you say it was like Chopper's evil brother?
Yeah, it very similar vibes to Chopper. Like the evil cousin or, evil stepbrother type thing.
Do you know the vibe? It just came to me now, and this may be before your time, but he reminded me heaps of like almost Muttley from the Wacky Races. The dog that does it like that.
What a throwback!
Yeah, it's a big throwback. That should give you an idea of how old I am compared to my much younger cohort. But yeah, he was definitely giving those vibes across, and much needed comic relief in something that could be quite, dark as a way we're going. Now, I do have to circle back a little bit because I have to bring this up when you're talking about the Inquisitors, which is, I remember looking at the 11th brother and, the Crow-esque design and face, and I was sitting there looking at it, and I was like, I've seen this motherfucker before. And I remembered that it was like, was it Tales of the Underworld or Tales of the Jedi? Tales of the Jedi, the first one with Ahsoka. And it really, and I think this might lead into the last episode, or might be a nice little segue for us to lead into it, as what really struck me in this is the difference in power levels that you had going through this. Like, because we were watching it and I was sitting there going, man, like these two Inquisitors have got like a, former Sith apprentice, a Jedi Master, and a Padawan, like struggling hard, like really struggling, just the two of them. And then you watch it and you see, Tales of the Jedi. Ahsoka takes the 11th Inquisitor out with his own weapon in one strike. And you're watching literally Maul be chased and not terrified, but, chased and just ground into the dirt by these two for the entire season. I thought it was wild. And then that leads into the, spoiler alert, appearance of Vader in the last episode.
Big dog.
I mean, for me, the most terrifying appearance since Rogue One. Like, holy shit. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I expected it, and wanted it, because you always want more Vader. But I really wanted Vader to be in this because, one, it makes sense. Because of course, at this point, like, in the broader, the lore canon, non-canon, if you're one of those people. Because nothing after a certain date is canon to you. He is all business in hunting down anything that has a remote connection to, his former life, I guess. And I love that he doesn't even acknowledge Maul at all. There's no dialogue between them. There's no bullshit villain monologue of like, I'm going to cut you down, Maul. It is just like, that's Maul. He reminds me of Anakin. He's got to go. It's a business trip. There's no like broader spectacle attached to it, which I think feeds into the subtext of the Maul hatred for Sidious is like, it's because it's like, you train me and now I don't matter. And it's like, yeah, you don't. I'm not even going to come here to get rid of you. I'm going to send my fucking big dog.
Do you know what it's giving me? I can't get this out of my head because you made it like a workplace thing. It's giving me the like, you've made me call my area supervisor to come in and my area supervisor is pissed that he has to come and deal with this little pissant. Like, that is literally the vibe.
Well,
like, his near disdain, Vader's disdain for the whole fight is just like, he bitch slaps fucking, the Jedi Master in mid-fight. He's just like knocking Maul away left and right. And I almost, honestly, in his voice, in my head,
he fights
he's like,
them with one hand for almost like half the battle. It's fantastic.
And he's like, literally, in my head, I'm hearing him like, fuck you for making me come down here to this shithole planet and fucking do this. Like, I have important Empire shit to do, and you all got me coming down doing
That's
this
what's funny
garbage.
too, because like Vader does not have anything more important to be doing, because when he's not either participating in genocide, the oppression of a galaxy, or, choking his own subordinates. He's just literally sitting in a gothic castle being a fucking sad cunt. You know what I mean?
Waiting for his helmet to be popped on.
He's taken a fucking dip in his little Bacta tank being like, oh, I'm so upset. I killed my wife. Oh, I'm so upset. I betrayed all my friends. Oh, I'm such a tragic figure. And then he's like, oh, fuck, I've got to take time out of my day whinging about all the bad decisions I made to go and deal with, this little bitch that's acting up on some planet I've never heard of. You're right. That is what happens, though, because Marek calls Vader being like, oh, shit, I need help.
It's literally like that. It's like, send help, please.
He's like, it's like, he sends him like an email. It's like, for action.
for your awareness, action. Sent insurgent down on murky planet. Maybe Jedi, maybe some other dude. And you can just see him just looking at that going, let me just check my teams. Oh man, I got back-to-backs. I got the Emperor. I got like 4 hours of meetings with the Emperor.
Yeah, you just know Vader's sitting in his little pod. He like spins around in the chair. He looks at his calendar and he just goes like, oh. Just sees he's like cancelling. It's like meeting with Admiral Ozzel. He's like, oh, cancelling that. That's the first one gone.
He's just sitting there and he's like, you can just see him like on Teams. Hey, Moff, Soz, got a book from meeting, heading down, got to deal with this shit.
Do you reckon first brother or Marek, he flicks him the Teams message, just says hi, full stop. And that's when Vader goes, oh, for fuck, what do you need now? Like, I don't know if you've read some of the Vader comics. Like, he is introduced to the Inquisitorius. They're already assembled and shit. And he's introduced, so he doesn't know they exist. He finds out they exist. He's introduced to all of them. And then he's kind of told, like, you lead them, by the way, so it's your job to go and hunt Jedi using these people. And he does not want a fucking bar of it. He is not. He's not interested. And one of the first things he does is he duels one of them. And then he just cuts one of their limbs off. And they have a little whinge, and it's this vibe of like, well, if you're going to work for me, these are the conditions you're going to have to endure.
The vibes I was definitely getting was like afterwards, you can just see him like on the, ship on the way back talking to both of the brothers like, you two are in some deep shit right now. Marek, maybe he's going to force pull him off the bridge that he fell off and just be like, mate, this is not what we do. He's like, remember how we're meant to kill them? What's happening here? I'm killing them. You're not doing anything.
Yeah. How do you reckon Marek's and I'm just calling him the Crow? How's their performance review after this?
I'm gonna say that they're definitely gonna get a does not meet expectations at the bottom.
Absolutely not, because it's pretty simple. Under roles and responsibilities, it probably just says like, hunt and exterminate Jedi.
That's it. That's the only thing. That's your only role.
Yeah, and then
how many Jedi did you kill? None. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there were 2, and there was a former Sith apprentice. There were 3 people you had to dispatch, and not seeing any unmarked graves. Marek's like, well, to be fair, sir, I did take out Spybot. May he rest in peace.
It's giving me like this old Mel Brooks bit. I can't remember what movie it's from, but it's just popped in my head where he's like, I'm a lawyer or something. And he goes, what do you do? He's like, oh, you're a bullshit artist. And he's like, did you bullshit today? And he's like, no. He's like, did you try to bullshit today? Yes. Okay. Well, now that would be like Vader chastising them. Did you actually kill anybody? No. Did you try to kill them? Yes. Well, okay, but you know what? This is going to be a mark against your thing from now on. So sorry, guys.
I do want to know where they're sort of going with Marek, because as we know, he's in Ahsoka, and that's who Ahsoka fights and kills midway through that season. And he's like a puff of green smoke, and we sort of don't know if he, died at an earlier point and was reanimated with the Night Sister magic or not.
Look, I fully believe if it's off screen, there is always potential to come back.
So, well, he has to be alive because he's in Ahsoka. So I'm curious to know what they do with him because, you know, the Crow, he's just 11th brother. It's interesting. First brother has a proper name. And leaning into the mythology thing too, Marek is he's a figure from Arthurian legend. So he's actually one of the Knights of the Round Table in Arthurian legend. And his wife like turns him into a werewolf.
Okay.
Which is, you know, of course, because we know how much Filoni loves wolves.
Not aware.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, you didn't know Filoni loved wolves? Oh, yeah.
Alert for
Also,
everybody.
maybe why he likes Lone Wolf and Cub. Oh man, Star Wars, it's just like poetry. It rhymes. So I'm curious to see where they take that and how they explore that. How does Marek get from what he is there, where like he's clearly alive, he's talking a lot, like he has thoughts. Maul sort of has some cool back and forth with him of like, you're a pawn just like I was, mate. You better wisen
They
up.
seem to have those two seem to have more interaction than any back and forth. So yeah, I feel like their story isn't finished.
I did see a cool fan theory, which I normally hate Star Wars fan theories because people are so desperate to make the universe that already feels pretty small, even smaller. But I liked the idea that maybe Marek was, you know, in Clone Wars, when the episode The Gathering, when they all the Padawans go and get their kyber crystals and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, like the dickhead kid.
The one everybody hates just becomes an inquisitor. Fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm the worst, but you know, it's your fault.
Because he's very agile. He's very fast. He's very aggressive. I think what's cool when you see sort of the Inquisitors, the first and 11th brother fight Maul, they're like all very similar. They're all aggressive. They're never defending. They're always on the attack.
So fast.
Yeah, they're quick. They're agile. Like, it's really fun to watch. And like I, you know, said it too when we were watching it, like when Darky is joining in the fight, he is like defense mode. He's like, you know, he fights a bit like Obi-Wan. I wouldn't be surprised if
He's classic Jedi. Do you know what I mean? He calm, composed.
Darky's like everything you want in a Jedi, like, right? Patient, selfless, wise, all those things.
You know, always ready to give you fortune cookie advice.
Oh, yeah.
You know, all of that, you know, everything is just like one of those. And he was just fantastic.
I feel like if George worked heavily on the show, Darky has like a Fu Manchu that he strokes. And his accent is probably more like, beware the shadow.
I'm pretty sure that you're thinking about Quentin Tarantino and going down some Kill Bill vibes right there.
Mate, if Quentin Tarantino directed an episode of this show, there would be so much feet. Like, opening shot is
thus
like,
we will reveal our feet to the Jedi.
You know how like OnlyFans is abbreviated to like OF? Like, I bet Tarantino thinks it stands for Only Feet.
I don't even.
There's a moment in the duel where Devon like kicks one of the Inquisitors. In that scene, she's not wearing shoes. Tarantino is,
and all you see is
which is so gross because she's clearly a teenager. But not that stops people in Hollywood, am I right? Oh, Epstein reference.
That's definitely not making the final cut.
Yeah. Why not? It's topical at the moment. We must beware the Shadow Lord. Jeffrey Epstein.
God.
Probably more back to a serious side. I do want to talk more about the fight, which I think we can build off. We just talked about how they're so fast, right?
Yep.
That's such a cool contrast when Vader does rock up because it's so slow. It's the complete opposite. There's no agility. He's not leaping off anything. You know, he is, as I said, business trip. Everything is efficient. It is powerful. It is measured. No one, you know, he's got that Giga Chad galaxy brain. You just can't. You cannot compete with Vader.
I love it because it's just like, that is such a better description than anything that's going to come out of my mouth right now, the Giga Chad galaxy brain. But it's because he has that, you know, like, he can see things before they happen vibe. And he's just
like his wife
force.
dying, you know.
Definitely saw that. Just dying of poetry as well. And sadness. It just like, he's just got that pure, just malevolence behind him. It's just brute force and everything is just brushing it away. It was just like, It's just like basically you picked the wrong day. You picked the right. I mean, to be honest, every day's the wrong day with Vader, but it really was just like everything was just. It was like watching a man like swat aside mosquitoes. Just that air of just like indifference to what they were doing, and just like meh. You know, even when he when you had the after shot of when he kills Darky, it just becomes that, like, it's almost like an afterthought that he's like, oh, I should probably like just put my saber through you right now. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, it's so detached. It's just like, another one. You know, he's the DJ Khaled of Jedi killers. It's just really just like, oh, another one. Okay, on to the next thing now. Oh, look at this. I've got to, you know, force block this. I've got to, you know, even when the Maul collapsed the entire, you know, ruins on top of him, you're watching him. He's just like angrily swatting it away. There's like boulders and he's just like, fuck off, lightsaber hit here, you know, and everybody else is like running for their lives. And he's just like, I don't know where I was going with that, but you know, it was just
it is that's one of the other contributors, I think, to why I think it might be Filoni's best work, is that Filoni just fundamentally understands these characters, why they resonate, and then when bringing them back, doing them justice. Because, like, yeah, immediately, like, you're like, oh, yeah, it's just like the Rogue One thing. But the Rogue One thing was so cool, but really, like, powerful in that he didn't walk through that hallway of rebels, you know, quipping or whatever else. You know, he just massacred them.
It was like a horror movie. It was like a 30-second horror movie.
Because it's that thing, and I love the way they do this. When they talk about Vader, like the other characters, they're not talking about Vader like he's a person. Like they're saying like it. Or Maul doesn't say like, who is that? He says, what is that?
Or what? No. When he looks at him, he's like, what are you?
Yeah, what are you? Yeah.
He's just, and he's trying to, and I got senses like maybe he knew, because or at least he maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but he got like a subconscious sense, because he was like, when he was talking to Darky, when they first fought Vader, he was like, he knows you, he knows how you're going to move. It's like, in my head, I was like, how the fuck would Maul know? Like, how would he know that he's a former Jedi if he's never met him? You know what I mean? Unless he just got some sort of sense.
Yeah.
Of there is former Jedi in
Force
the sky.
sensitivity is just vibes, bro.
It's just vibes. I'm just vibing, and I'm just vibing. You got like 2% Jedi left in you.
Yeah, that's what I really love too. They brought him back, did him justice. It served the story to bring him back.
It wasn't just like a gratuitous cameo.
Yeah, which I think like later seasons of The Mandalorian are really guilty of. It's just like, hey, here's this character you like. And that wasn't this. This was, no, this level of threat. Maul is obviously a loose end for Palpatine, Sidious. He needs to be dispatched. Vader is the one to do it, because who else are you going to send at that point?
Yeah.
Maul's kind of too good for the Inquisitors, because he knows Maul's way of fighting is, you know, it's second nature to him. It's who he is. Whereas the Inquisitors, being former Jedi, they've had to learn, you know, how to become this quite recently in the timeline. Whereas Maul's been like doing this his whole existence, essentially. Whereas, you know, when Vader comes to the party, it's over, because he really is that. He's a force of nature. It's not a who, it is the what. And he's just so powerful. And you get that sense. Because you know how in like sport, even the best teams, some people will be like, oh, you know, any team can beat another team on their good day. With Vader, that's not true. You can't beat him. And I really like when, after Darky, I don't like when Darky's killed, because I love my Dino Dingus boy. But, of course, he has to die to serve the narrative. And Devon finds that, you know, she taps into the rage and the aggression, and she kind of overcomes the crow. And then she walks down the stairs, and she's full of that energy to, like, whoop ass. And then Vader pops around the corner like a fucking Godzilla.
She's literally like, like, I'm just surviving. I'm not even blocking, really. I'm just existing right now.
Yeah. Like, she's not even swinging. She is on the floor. She's just holding this thing up. which is another cool, like that's the, you know, Darky and Devon end up in the position Vader ends up in against Luke, which I think is, it's like poetry, it rhymes, which is obviously intentional by Filoni. It's always like a meme at this moment.
I really appreciate that comment because we now got the name for the episode. It's like poetry, it rhymes.
Well, that could just be the name of every episode we ever do.
True.
But I just love that. Like it's kind of silent. She walks down those stairs and then you don't see him. You hear him first. You hear the like, and his breath, you know, almost synchronizes with the swing.
Mm.
Like everything he does is also laborious for him, which I think is very cool as well.
You got the weight of him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they really nailed the heaviness of him.
He's imposing.
The brute force. Yeah, like that just level of malevolence of everything that he
the
does.
Australian term, like built like a brick shit house.
Vader's a fucking unit.
Yeah.
He's just
bro.
a unit.
If Vader eats food, and I assume he does, unless it's just like, oh, maybe his sad existence just permits him like sludge while he's in the Bacta tank.
I feel like he's got some sort of futuristic sludge pipe that he just pulls out, and he's sitting there eating it like cereal. It's just like this baby food. He's just like,
but like the big unit thing, like if there's a Chinese takeaway shop on the Death Star or in his castle or whatever, the server droids see him coming and they're like, oh, big units here. Roll out the sweet and sour pork.
We're closing down the all-you-can-eat buffet. Big units coming in.
Yeah, God, I would love to know that, eh? Like, what's Vader's favorite food?
I would love to do that. Filoni comes out here for a fucking convention.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's nothing from the Middle East because he is not touching food that has any sort of risk of having a grain of sand.
I knew you were going to say that.
Most people probably hear something about the Middle East and they go, oh no, what's next? But it's like, oh,
he just hates sand.
Yeah.
It's just sand.
Sand and sand people.
Oh my goodness. I have a feeling that we're getting close to wrapping up, but I do have just some final shower thoughts that came up that I need to get out, which is just questions that I want to throw out or just things that have just crossed my head that I want to make sure that I say before we finish up, which is serious question. Two Boots. C-3PO's law enforcement cousin. I was getting the vibes. I don't know why it took me until the 9th episode, but I was like, hey, they got the same eyes.
Yeah.
There's vibes.
I get that. Because I guess if Spybot is like evil cousin of Chopper because like C-3PO is like the stickler for the rules, right? In the same way Two Boots is. That's one of my notes here. Like Lawson, who we haven't even fucking spoken about, who I think is a great character.
Show's not called Lawson, it's called Maul. Come on.
Yeah, but normally like cop characters are a bit vanilla to me in a lot of the media.
You're talking about he could have been 3 days to retirement.
What's in the box? Yeah, Lawson's cool because he believes in true justice, but then the parallel is that Two Boots believes in the system.
Yes.
And that is, I think, pretty on board with C-3POs.
Yeah, I'm a bureaucrat.
Two Boots,
this is the right
thing. Two
that
Boots
has
is
to be
the
done.
same. He can't. He's sort of like
until he became No Boots.
Yeah, that's exactly the point. He's that person in life who watches things happening in a broader context and just like goes, yeah, it's affecting me. And then the Empire comes for his fucking boots.
Yep.
And he's like, excuse me? No.
Name's not No Boots.
Yeah.
It's Two Boots.
Yeah. And they're like, your name's actually like CZ, whatever your, designation number is, you filthy little clanker.
I was waiting to see it. You did pretty well. You lasted nearly an entire episode with saying clanker.
First slur. We need a slur tally.
I do have one other thing, which and this is just like a bit of trivia that I found out that I'd like to hope is real, and I really enjoyed it, which is the Mandalorian Rook cast. She's part of the iconic reveal of Vader in this, and when he pops out of the fog and everybody just like, sphincters tighten because you're just like, holy fuck.
Yeah,
Who the fuck, what the
she
fuck
gets
is that?
dragged away like a horror movie.
Yeah, she just gets pulled away. And I remember reading something that the voice actor Vanessa Marshall was asked like, they basically said to her, like, how do your character is going to die. How do you want to go out? You know what I mean? Like, which I think is actually really cool. Imagine if you're a character on a show and they actually give you something like animation, they give you the license, like, how do you want to go out? You want to go out like a boss? And she was like, I want to have Vader force rip my lungs out through my throat. And if you listen to it, you can actually hear her gurgle, like, as her body gets pulled towards him. And I was like, that is so cooked. How wonderful. Like, what a moment.
Timing of that really hits too, because she's pulled away, she screams, then there's a bit of silence of like, you're like, oh, she's just gone. And then you hear the gurgle.
Yep.
And then it's like, whoa, like sort of that mystery of what happened in between the pulling, the yelling, and then the gurgle.
Yeah.
Did they have a chat?
Or he's just like, is he force choking her, just like holding her up, like toying? You'd imagine he'd be like toying with her, kind of like looking. And to me, it gives her like somebody pulling the tail off a lizard. Do you know what I mean? He's just like force choking her, holding her up, and then just like, he's like, yeah, nah, I'm done with this now. I'm onto the bigger fish. And just hoiks the lungs through the throat and onto the next one.
In like her visor, like HUD, Tony Stark style. She's just getting like Teams message, Vader, hi.
It just says contract terminated. Oh my goodness.
I think I've saved this for the end because I think this is probably like my biggest observation.
Okay.
Which hit me more on the rewatch. I love so much, and this is what I mean about Filoni and Sam getting it, understanding Star Wars. We've memed on it, the poetry, it rhymes, but like really bringing that forward, and that the fight between Darky and Maul versus Vader, it's eerily similar to Duel of the Fates, in that the person who dies from this altercation alters the fate for Devon. Yes. In the same way that if Qui-Gon lived, Anakin's path is completely different, but he ends up with Obi-Wan. And it's the same for Devon. If she gets to stay with Darky, they escape. Her path, it would have been very different to what it is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm just going to call it like Duel of Fates 2.0. The point of difference is that Maul influences the outcome.
All it takes is a little nudge.
Yeah. And, it's that he gives that little push, which he kind of doesn't have to do, but he's so nefarious, which is what they've built. They've earned that moment throughout the whole season 2. They build it up. The will they, won't they? Oh, he's more kind of a good guy. Oh, he's got a tragic past. Look, he's kind of relatable. Did your dad hate you too? And then at the end, he's like, fuck Dino Dingus.
Yeah.
And he like feeds him to the monster, so he can escape.
It's literally like Filoni winking at the camera. Like, it literally, for me, it felt like the fourth wall break. It was just like, yoink, and then he's just gone. With very little fanfare, by the way, too. And
yeah, to drive home that point, right? Vader doesn't give a fuck who Dino Dingus is.
Yeah.
Vader probably doesn't even know this guy's name. And he doesn't want to know this guy's name. And he doesn't kill him. There's no honor. It's not like, the samurai like bowing, killing the other one, giving them the noble death. He's just like skews him, and then he's like,
right, next one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Totally
and then
right.
in the back of the mind, he's like, where the fuck is Marek? Where is fucking Crow? So I do everything myself.
I got to drag you fucking bastards back to work. You got to take you back to the Empire. Who shot up my plane? Who shot up my ship? What is going on? Lawson.
Do you reckon Lawson's dead? I don't think so.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, he it's the Lone Wolf and Cub thing too, right? It's like Filoni loves The Last Stand with like the heavy gun.
Yeah.
Because that was like shades of one of my favorite clone troopers, Heavy, from
season
1, episode 5 of Clone Wars Rookies. when he takes the.
But wasn't it also Paz Vizsla and the Mandalorian?
Oh yeah, exactly the same thing. It's the guy
Like
with the heavy
the
gun.
big brute guy, and I mean they do make a great big brute with the the squishy interior. Wrecker is one of my absolute favorites.
We do love 2 chromosomes king, and that is Wrecker. Speaking of squishy, we haven't talked about the dark horse of this show. I reckon Vario.
Varia. Okay, can
our short king,
the king of short kings, and I'm just going to say, is giving Paul Giamatti crossed with less competent Rocket Raccoon.
Yeah, no, you are 100% correct.
And also I feel like it was a huge misstep not casting Giamatti in the role. I'm assuming he was busy doing Starfleet Academy, which was another great role for him. Don't sleep on that show. But that's a different podcast.
Star Trek.
Listen here, we like all fandoms.
I'm not even a Star Trek hater.
He was fantastic. What a great little conniving short king throughout the entire thing. The guy that you're fully expecting is going to get squished at some point, and somehow miraculously, he's giving me the Guy Fleckman from Galaxy Quest. I'm the red shirt about to die. And I was like, maybe you're the plucky comic relief. And it's just like, absolutely he was. But I mean, honestly, he'll stab you in the back in a heartbeat.
Oh yeah. I was glad he made it out by the end of it. I really loved whenever he was sort of thinking to himself or monologuing or whatever, he would like scratch the side of his gills.
And also the smirk. He has a smirk where you're just like you are planning somebody's demise right now. You could it's right there. You are doing nefarious shit. You are about to do some bad shit to somebody, or planning and calculating bad shit to somebody.
Yeah. I just love It's again, they do it in animation more because it's just easier compared to live action. But they take advantage. They nail a droid all the time. They did it with 2 in this one, I reckon.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
then they have like an alien character who just
which they did with
it.
2 this time.
Yeah, they're doing it again.
Look, I don't have a lot of notes for it. Do you know what I mean? Like I came out of this I was like, this is. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm just saying that there's not a lot.
I almost want to argue it kind of is. Like I didn't feel like any episode was filler. I didn't feel like any moments were wasted. I thought everyone kind of got either a moment to shine or they had really cool arcs. I think what they do with Lawson and his son.
It felt
is
real.
Really,
they fleshed out the character.
And it's really simple and effective. That scene in the earlier season, like Lawson comes down, he's like, I want to make it to my son's, I don't know what game. It looks like space lacrosse.
Yeah. He wants to make it to lacrosse, and he's like a local superstar, and it's clear like he just wants his dad's approval.
Yeah, and of course he's like, I'm playing in this team, I want my dad to come watch me play. He does get there, they have that cool interaction. Soon as the game starts, he does something amazing. You hear it, you don't see it, but neither does Lawson.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a real thing kids go through all the time. And that there's that touching moment at the end where Lawson says like, I'm sorry I wasn't there. And he says, man, he's like, sorry I wasn't there, man. Almost like there's a bro sort of relationship rather than a father of son because of that distance. But he's like, hey, I love you. I tried my best.
I'm about to go out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, and he does. And he'll be back because he saw what Maul did to Ducky, which I think will be an obvious conflict point in season 2.
Well, that leads me into this will be a reoccurring thing that we're going to do because it's something that I have been privy to and forced to endure. So I'm going to make the entire audience here of 2 to 3 people, aside from us, endure, which is what I'm liking to call Hato's Force Predictions. Now, previous to the start of this season, Hato gave me several predictions of what he thought would happen. He called Vader's appearance. He also called
Darky's death.
Darky's death and Devon's turn to the dark side. The only difference,
Well,
nuance to
dipping her toe.
dipping her toe. The way that he did describe it initially was that she would be fighting, get taken over by fear and anger, and her kyber crystal would bleed red and then turn red.
Yeah, I thought that would happen because that's what they did in the Acolyte. And then in hindsight, that's probably why they didn't do it. They didn't want to do it the exact same way.
Yeah.
That I sort of thought two things would happen. She would encounter the Inquisitors. One of them, maybe Marek was going to kill Darky. Maul was going to let it happen. And then that's how we get Marek maybe being resurrected with the Dathomirian magic or something to tie into Ahsoka. Or I thought she would bleed her crystal in like the fit of rage at the death of her master. I actually really like that she gets Maul's saber because it explains why that half of his saber's missing. By missing, I mean obviously in later Rebels and so his cameo in Solo, he has like half an Inquisitor lightsaber.
But part of me feels like it's also she's taking up the mantle and he's letting go of not letting go of the hatred, but like passing it on. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's very deliberate that he can give her one half of the saber, right? He gives her the half that is from his original lightsaber.
Yes.
Which I find very interesting and deliberate. That's the part of it he doesn't have in later appearances. I could be misremembering. I think the half he does have is like from Asajj's or something. One of her other lightsabers she has in, I think it's the Dark Disciple book. Not sure. But anyway, I think my prediction would be she's going to go on this journey. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of it, she does not. We're all kind of thinking she's going to become like a Darth Talon analog, right?
Yeah. That's
what we're
I was
expecting because obviously she's a Twi'lek.
I don't think he's going to do it because when does Filoni ever give you exactly what you think is going to happen?
Yeah, and also they've done this a lot. They have brought characters back from, expanded universe materials, either directly or indirectly, or they've just taken character beats. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe she goes through this journey, realizes Maul is a liar. She's not really into this. She, goes on her own sort of path like Ahsoka, and instead of, bleeding the crystal like I thought she was going to, maybe she heals Maul's crystal. I assume she'll end up with a white one.
Okay.
Because that's how Ahsoka has her white crystals. And that's kind of a cool way of healing the past. I think what she will learn to do is what Maul can't do. Walk away from that trauma and heal yourself and like find a better way forward.
I feel like there's going to be some sort of pivotal moment and like Darky's Force Ghost is going to come and just be like,
that would be sick. Force Ghost Dino Dingus.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's a better way, or do you know what I mean? Like that, just that pivotal moment where she's literally about to like do something horrific and he just like out of nowhere is just like, there's a better path. I didn't teach you like this, whatever the wording is.
Because this show probably gets like the 3 seasons, right? So we get season 2, similar to like Rebels, right? Where we had like the angsty teenage years for Ezra.
Yeah.
We get that for Devon.
This will be like her battling against it and fighting against like I feel like the next season will be the fight for her soul. She's gone down the dark side. Is there possibility of redemption? And then they could go either way. She just becomes Talon. But I feel like that's just too boring for Filoni.
Yeah, also my hot take, that shit's lame. I think the real reason a lot of people liked Darth Talon back in the day is because she was a sexy red Twi'lek with tattoos and her titties were out and she was wearing like BDSM leather robes. Because when I hear people go, yeah, I love Darth Talon, and you go, oh, what'd you like about her? Oh, I just thought she looked cool, bro.
Yeah.
You never get like it's never anything about her character arc or, what happened in a story or anything like that. And the way, I've seen a lot of art in my time, and it's always like the sexy stuff. And if you enjoy sexy stuff, that is fine. That is normal. But like, Devon's a child.
Yes.
So I don't want sexy Devon in season 2, okay?
Absolutely not. No, look, as we said, this is not Tarantino's Shadow Lord.
This is not an Epstein fan club podcast. Just putting it out there.
It's absolutely not. I don't think that they're going to go that direction. I do think it's just going to be a little nuanced, but I think it's going to be like, I feel like this series is going to take people to the brink. It's going to take people to the brink and then pull them back.
Yeah.
And, and I feel like we'll also get like the teetering of the start of Maul's madness. Of him like losing it, and I feel like that's only going to happen through failed conflict.
Yeah, he's already kind of there. He goes on his little journey in the pipe. That's the cracks are there.
Yeah,
and it's because he's like, oh, I'm going through this again, and then he's gonna go through it again with Devon. The fact that she's not in the other things that happen after this just proves that she is not Darth Talon. That we know the outcomes, right? And it's Maul is who he is now is kind of who he's always going to be. He's stuck in that cycle. He never escapes it. And the only person who actually frees him from that is Obi-Wan. Which is funny because Maul blames Obi-Wan for like everything, but it's really not Obi-Wan's fault.
And he's so grateful at the end. Like, just like, thank goodness.
Yeah, weight lifted off his shoulders.
I do have one thing. It's not a prediction, but it's what I would love to see happen. Filoni, give the motherfucker some Beskar legs, man. I am sick. I am sick and tired of seeing like I get it. They were hammering the point home, and you brought this up where you said Maul is all about agility, and they took his agility away from him, which was why he didn't have the Inquisitors for breakfast. And I don't imagine he would have had any sort of even footing with Vader, but it would have been a little bit more than swatting a gnat. Do you know what I mean? But seriously, like if the trope is going to be like another 48 times we see his legs get diced and then him hobble away, it's like, come on, man.
I understand why they did that because there's so much like shitty fan criticism from people who just like don't fucking pay attention. Because they're like, oh, why did that happen? And it's like, because his legs are fucked.
We're just reminding you, remember how he was cut in half?
It was even like, I remember when after Darky and, Devon duel Maul that first time, a lot of people were like, oh, they should have smoked Maul. And it's like, you guys missed a key moment in the fight where like, Darky is like kicked in his Dino Dingus gut with a metal leg and he's constantly like, and he's holding it. And then they're like, oh, he should have smoked him. It's like, guys, he's wounded. And this is like, oh God, don't hate me for like defending the sequel trilogy, but like everyone whinges in Force Awakens, right? Oh, Rey shouldn't have been able to beat Kylo because Kylo, blah, 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 trained by Luke and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like 5 minutes before that, Kylo is shot in the gut with Bowie's
with a bowcaster, which is like arguably the heaviest.
I was about to say Bowie's chewcaster. Chewie's bowcaster, which like has 3 clear moments in the film that it's powerful.
It literally knocks a stormtrooper off the fucking planet.
Yeah, it's knocking stormtroopers back. It's cracking the armor into pieces as they fly across.
And he just takes it and he's just like,
oh, Kylo eats that. He's bleeding literally during the fight. He is hitting it. They show blood on the snow. And then absolute dickheads who have no media literacy or ability to pay attention go, oh, you shouldn't have lost your fight. Because people are like weirdly obsessed with like power levels. I don't know. I think they definitely like overdo it because it gets to a point where I'm like, that leg should not be working anymore at this point.
Also, sidebar, I think that Maul should give Vader the dude who made his legs number so that he can get some legs that he's not such a lumbering brute anymore and he can get like the agile legs.
You get the cool ones.
Maybe he just was like, you know what, I'm opting for the heavy armor set with the movement penalty.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of going for the more light to medium.
That's another contributor, I reckon. I think people think about this sort of thing in like video game terms as well. Like they think like people have stats.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, man.
Nah, man. Kylo had at least 48 HP. And bowcaster's only good for at least a half health hit.
Yeah, and that's why like it becomes also it doesn't serve the story if someone is just, because if someone just rocks up and mows people down constantly, that's like then you're getting the criticism of like, oh, they're the Mary Sue, or they're not encountering any challenges.
Yeah.
They're not being tested. Oh, they just overcome everything. Like, fucking pick a lane, guys. It's almost like Star Wars fans hate Star Wars or something.
Whoa. Not on this podcast.
But anyway, Maul Shadow Lord fucking rocks. I don't really have a criticism of it. I think the pacing's good. I think the narrative's great. You watch this and you go, this is Star Wars. This is everything I love about Star Wars. I think it is Filoni's best work yet. You know, and because not that his other ones are bad, but it's like you keep making stuff, you keep getting better, you're training the muscle. And I think Sam Witwer as well is a big reason why. Like, this is like a great example of not every actor can just go and be a voice actor.
Oh, 100%.
Like, at one end,
is-
you've got like Chris Pratt as Mario, which I think is dog shit. And
Well,
then
it's not
Sam
Chris-
as Maul.
It's not Chris Pratt as Mario. It's Chris Pratt as Chris Pratt,
Exactly.
who just happens to be voicing Mario, whereas he just becomes every character, and he's owned that character since the second he started voicing him. And it's only gotten like his connection to it and I've said it a lot, but the nuance to his delivery, it just gets better and better and better. And his understanding of the character, the motivation.
Yeah, Sam Witwer understands not just Maul at a on a midichloric level, but he understands Star Wars as well, like the saga as a whole, because ultimately he's a fan as well.
Yep.
And I think he is a student of George in the same way Filoni was a student of George. Like I always love listening to Sam speak, either on his, channels or the way he talks about the saga or specific moments, or the way he talks about Maul, or like watching him in this like booth recording.
Yeah.
And it's, he's rocking up with the face paint on and shit like that. Or like he's not in the booth reading his lines, like he's performing.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, these people are artists, like, because he doesn't have the visuals to bring it to life. He can only use his voice. But, when you hear him talk, you feel like, as you said, the nuances. And I think we got to talk about this, that some of the like lines are actually like used for the sound mixing for the lightsaber.
Yes.
It's fucking sick. Like the way Maul swings the saber and it doesn't just make the you can hear Sam going like, like he's yelling. I don't know if it's a mistake or not, but if you watch with like closed captions on, like there's dialogue attributed to the lightsaber, which is fucking sick. Like that idea that Kaiba is alive, which we hear about that a bit in Rogue One from Chirrut. And we get that in Clone Wars as well, like how the Kyber crystal chooses the user and all that sort of thing. And that just builds on that lore in a really cool way, where it's just like, Maul's Kyber crystals must be fucking suffering. You know what I mean? Like I picture they're like two old grandpas just like going, ah!
No. I envision it differently. Everything is the same except for it's not two grandpas. It's just Kenobi.
Yeah.
Every strike is just him howling Kenobi.
It's two Star Wars fans.
The originals are better. The prequels are better.
Any final thoughts on Maul Shadow Lord before we wrap this bad boy up?
I had very high expectations. It met all of them, exceeded all of them. And I guess the only thing I'd like to I think they were very interesting characters. I think Sam Witwer is arguably the finest voice actor artist in the industry. Honestly, there are times I get lost in his voice. I know that sounds like weird, but I really do. Like there is so much going on in every take, in every line. And I kind of just sit there and look for like, what is the meaning? What is his intention? What is he trying to do? And just the cracks that he somehow manages to get through the veneer is just absolute masterclass. I came to to the series to enjoy some step-up animation and a cool Maul story, and I got so much more than that. And I'm grateful. And also, I think this was the first one Filoni's truly helmed while he was in the, big boy pants position.
That's true. Yeah,
So
this is possibly like his first,
like head cheese. So I'm
while being the big dog,
the big dog, indeed,
the alpha wolf,
the pack leader, and yeah, I'm very keen for more from Trapper Wolf.
Cool. I think my final thoughts, probably just an unsung, really cool moment, which I think sums up what this show did well, which it nailed show don't tell in showing character moments through action. And as we were saying before, Dino Dingus, Echo Deodaki, everything you want in a Jedi, and I think that's encapsulated in a moment in that final duel where Devon is fighting both the Inquisitors, and she's kind of struggling, and Darky throws his lightsaber to her, leaving himself defenseless. And I think that just sums up everything about the ideal version of the Jedi, that selflessness.
Yeah.
To give your weapon up, to give to your Padawan, to assist her, leaving yourself defenseless as, the force of nature behind you like encroaches. And I really loved that.
It also gave me a 2-second shade of Ahsoka because this pose, the two different sized lightsabers, it's like, is she going to be a Talon or an Ahsoka? But yeah, totally agree. Totally agree on all of that, man.
And speaking of like Ahsoka moments, sort of the throwbacks, we got to have a shout out that shot of Maul when he's got the sabers behind him looking like Starkiller.
The old Force Unleashed. I have been loving the memes.
Force Unleashed 2 reference though, which doesn't hit as hard because that game kind of sucked.
It didn't kind of suck. It absolutely sucked. Terrible. Way to not do a sequel because the original was.
Did
was
you
a
get
chef's
the
kiss.
collector's edition back in the day?
Because what came with it?
This is why I wanted to bring it up. So I was so keen for it, and I'd be like, I'm going to get this thing. And I was like convincing myself it was cool, but it was like peak 2010s, like collector's edition swag. It was a little like 4 or 8 gig USB of like a chibi cartoon Starkiller.
God, I did get it. I did. So that was back when I was working in the video games industry and I was reviewing. So they flicked me the collector's edition for reviewing. And yeah, I remember that one because it's the one you pop his head off.
Yeah, you pop the head off, and out of his head is the connectors. I'm
sorry, I fucking love those things.
I loved it at the time, and I was so excited, because it's 2010. I'm like 15. I don't have a lot of money, so like, I've spent a lot of fucking dollary dues on this bad boy. And I'm so desperate for the game to be good. It's not.
And it was so short.
I'm holding on to this fucking USB, and I have a small little Star Wars collection at this point. And I'm putting it up there with the figures, and I'm like, how cool is it? And I just remember so excited showing my dad, who's also a big Star Wars fan. I'm like, how cool is this? And he just looked at me, and then just said, you're fucking joking, aren't you? just my world as a 15-year-old crumbling. And then I went into my room and still put it next to my figures, and
But you had a moment.
And now
his villain arc began.
And then I was just sat down and I was like, I'm going to forge my own criminal empire to take down my father.
At last, we will have revenge on Papa.